Hi, and Merry Christmas to you all. This is Pastor Rob Wiesner of Holy Trinity Lutheran Church in Belleville. You're listening to Josh and Jeremy Davis, The Other Side Radio Show on 91X FM.
The Other Side Media Group and 91X now present The Other Side Radio Show, a program about people who make a difference from all walks of life in Quinte and beyond. And now here are your hosts, Jeremy and Joshua Davis.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to a very special Merry Christmas edition of The Other Side Radio Show. I'm Joshua Davis, and joining me along with my counterpart, Jerry Claus, is Pastor Rob Wiesner of Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here today. It's a real honor to have you, especially around the holiday time. Well, absolutely. You jumped right in there, but that's okay. So, Pastor Rob, as Advent and Christmas draws near yet again, what is it saying to you this year, especially after the pandemic?
Well, guys, it's really been a difficult couple of years for everybody, hasn't it? And one of the things that this season of Advent and Christmas Eve, Christmas Day means to me, coming out and coming through the pandemic, and think of all the polarization, the division, the weird political things going down south of the border, all the different things going on in this country, different parts of the world. Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's got tons on their mind. People are fried. People have had enough of stuff, So for me right now, I think what is really important for all of us to remember is, regardless of what's going on out there, regardless of the things that are going on within us, this time of year is a reminder to us of hope, that things are not going to always be this way. Things can get better. Things can change. It reminds me about peace, that in order for peace in the world, we need peace within. Right. And it's a reminder to us to look for those things, peace inside ourselves, what's bugging us and what's bothering us, what's getting us down, what can we work on to make it better, and especially this time of year. And all the world's religions talk about this at this time of year. And this is what I love about all the world religions is they all celebrate something about light shining in the darkness. Hindus just had celebrated Diwali about a month ago, a celebration of light, overcoming darkness. And it was so beautiful here in Belleville to see the wonderful celebrations that happen down at Zwick's. In Judaism, there's going to be Hanukkah coming up. Then there's Christmas, there's Kwanzaa. Just the other day was Bodhi Day in Buddhism. All of these things are a reminder that light will overcome the darkness. Not that darkness goes away. You need to have a bit of light in order to accentuate the darkness. You need a bit of darkness to accentuate the light, right? But the idea is, we can be more than we have allowed ourselves to be. And I think that's wonderful. Peace, hope, joy, love, all of these wonderful things to help us through these tough times we're all going through.
It's a good point that you bring up light over darkness. And it really accents the holidays for any religion. But what I wanted to get to is what about those people that are living way up, maybe in the north, and how they have darkness like
all the time.
All the time.
In certain
and how do you think they would manage with that, Rob?
It's interesting that you bring that up, Josh, because I think people at this time of year in the north, where it would be, now I got to get this right, the northern pole has nighttime most of the day, and in the southern hemisphere it would be mostly light, and then it flips in on June 21st at the summer solstice,
Right.
you know, that the north would be mostly in the light and then the south would be mostly in the dark, you know, throughout the 24 hours. And it's funny you mentioned that because I think they would appreciate light and dark in a whole different way than we do, where we get kind of a more even flow to it for most of the year. You know, but I think, you know, people who do experience those realities at the north or southern poles of the globe, I think it's not lost on them that sometimes, especially when they're through 24 hours of darkness, that little bit of light is very, very important and means a whole lot, you know, and I think they get the deeper point quite significantly.
You know, I don't think I could truly handle that, you know. Because not that I don't like looking at the stars, but there's something about seeing the beautiful sun shimmering down on the snow. You know, we don't see it as much this time of year, but you know what I mean. Or just the ideal of so much light in our daytime experience. So, what I want to ask you, Pastor, before we were on the air, I mentioned to you, if someone were to ask you if you could give this modern day world any gift at all, and we're not necessarily talking about a monetary gift or, you know, a commercialized gift from a store, but what would it be and why? Especially in 2022 with all our iniquities and all the things that we're going through.
Yeah, Jeremy, that's a really good point. There is so much that's been going on in our world. You know, and you know, there's really no cut and dry, simple answer. But if you were to ask me, no, that's okay. If you were to ask me, I think the gift that could make a huge difference in the lives of modern day people would have to be something along the lines of inner peace or inner calm, or something along the lines of an inner sense of worthwhileness or value. I think a lot of the issues in our world stem from the fact that a lot of people are not at peace with themselves or within themselves. Lots of people suffer anxiety, depression, illness. They're grieving the loss of a hope or a dream or a loved one or a friend. You know, people are dealing with, you know, loss of work or some insecurity of some sort, you know, and there's so many things that can cause inner turmoil, right? And I think if we could work on that inner stuff, it becomes easier for us to live differently out in the world. And if we can see that we are of value and that we are worthwhile, you know, we look at ourselves and then we see our world differently through a set of different lenses, something more positive and life-giving.
Now, as a pastor, if I can just get a little bit personal, if that's okay. Despite the fact that you have had all your theology teaching, and you do see life through a different lens, if I might say that, if I can be so bold to say that, sometimes then perhaps some of us would in conventional society, just with everything that you learned in your profession. Have you found it difficult? Do you just like everybody else? I'm sure there's times where you wrestle with today's modern reality and wonder why. And it's okay to question why something's happening, right? I'm not trying to answer my own question, but what's your take on that, Pastor? And we'll go from there. I ask that for individuals who just, we want to make sure that we're connecting them as much as possible and making them realize that we're all on this road together.
And we're not alone.
Yes, and we're not alone, and we're on the same page.
Yeah, Jared, that's a great question, great observation. And, Yeah, there's not a day that goes by, and this is not to say anything negative about where I am right now, or what I'm doing with this particular congregation, or what we're doing together, or what we're going through. If anybody from the congregation is listening to this, I don't want them to read more into what I'm about to say, but there certainly is a clash, if you will, between modern reality and the inner spiritual kind of journey that I've been through and that many of us go through. It's like, I don't want to say it too strongly, it's not really like a clash of civilizations or anything, but it's certainly, there is that struggle between kind of, I suppose, ideology or different ways. Again, you use the word lenses. I've used the word lenses that we see through. I might wear physical glasses that have two lenses, but I do wear non-physical glasses with multiple sets of lenses, because you have to look at the world sometimes in life situations with different lenses, and you got to switch from one to the other. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It can become a real struggle to make those different kinds of lenses fit together well. The different puzzle pieces may not always fit. But yeah, there are many days where I question, why do I do what I do? Why am I putting myself through these situations and things again and again and again and again, when what I perceive as the results may not be what I was expecting? You know what I mean? But at the same time,
That's human.
yeah, that's human nature. But at the same time, just because I don't get a result that I was expecting does not mean someone else is not getting, doesn't mean someone else isn't getting the results that they need out of the situation. It's not all about me, but somewhere somebody is going to get what they need in order to carry on and keep things moving forward in a positive way. And if we can all kind of work together and share those experiences, then more and more and more people can hopefully have those positive moments and carry on from that.
Thank you for being so upfront about that. I just think it's so helpful on that connecting level. You have had the opportunity as a pastor to do a lot of traveling abroad and to significant places in the spiritual story, if you will. Can you share with us and our listeners some of those profound experiences when you've visited some holy areas that has been a true transformation, and just describe it for us, please? I don't think we've ever done that.
No. I would have to first say, in 2000, I was in India in the summer, and it was one of the first major life-changing experiences that I had when it came to travel and traveling for a kind of spiritual, religious purpose. I had been contemplating going to seminary. I had just finished doing my undergraduate degree in religious studies and philosophy and geography, and I was really wrestling with Christianity and my faith. And I decided that I would participate in a directed study program with a professor, Jack Waschenfelder, one of my favorite professors I had all through my further education process. He led a group of 10, 11, 12 of us from the university I went to India, and it absolutely changed my life in many, many, many different ways, and it really helped me to solidify the fact that my faith and my religion is not the only faith or religion out there with a story to tell and with, again, a set of lenses to see the world with, right? I think about that trip every single day, and I give so much thanks that we are able to partner as a congregation with groups like Belleville International, which works predominantly with students at Loyalist from South Asia, from India specifically. And we have the BAPS, a Hindu community that worships in our building every week. And, it is a wonderful opportunity. The second, if I can just take another minute here, the second biggest life-changing travel experience that I've had was when I went to Syria in 2006, a couple of weeks before the civil war broke out there. It was one of the most hospitable places I had ever been to. I was in the heart of the Middle East, in the middle of all the conflict in Iraq and all around.
Were they welcoming to you?
Absolutely. And I was just going to say, in the midst of all the violence all around us, I never felt more safe in my life than I did in Syria, in Damascus, and places like Aleppo and Palmyra. And it breaks my heart to see all the violence done by, extremist groups destroying these beautiful places and ancient history. But it really showed me that there is a really beautiful component and reality in the religion of Islam, which I knew already, but I got to experience it firsthand, and getting to participate in Friday prayers at the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus was a real profound privilege, and it was just a wonderful experience to stand shoulder to shoulder with people of faith and to offer prayer and to be together. They were so welcoming. The people were incredibly kind and so outgoing with their generosity, and they did anything and everything to help us as visitors to their country feel very welcome and quite special.
That's great, Rob.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's great when you can go to these places and meet the people and greet the people and give them love by doing it hands-on. What I want to get to now is fast forward today. Today, you and Kyla have an amazing family of 4 boys. And how has fatherhood changed your life? And what do they think of Christmas and the holidays?
That's a great question, Josh, and I want to say thanks for asking it. Becoming a dad has changed my life in every way that you can possibly change a person's life. I think a lot of people who experience parenthood will say the same thing. For better and for worse, you experience all the greatest joys, the greatest of sorrow and sadness and frustration and everything in between, and it's a powerful experience to be a parent. We love our kids. They bring so much joy and laughter and shenanigans, especially at Christmas time, into our home. We just put up our Christmas tree, maybe 10 days ago. And the kids loved it. They had so much fun. Yeah, and now that our twins, who are now about 3.5, they're starting to know more about what's happening, and they recognize things, and they're able to express what they're feeling in really neat ways. And it was so sweet watching the kids put together the Christmas tree and hanging up decorations. It was so much fun. And I think, obviously I think every kid, my gosh, myself too, and I bet you guys too, when you were kids, you looked so forward to the Christmas gifts under the tree, right? Or, but the kids, they like that as well, of course. But, what they really like the most is being together with family that we don't get to see too often. My parents live 4 hours away. My wife's parents live 5 hours away. We don't get to see these people, our family, that often. And so it's a great experience for our kids to see grandma and grandpa and, to see aunts and uncles and cousins and just to be together. And not to mention, we love to eat the food, all the turkey dinner. It's a riot. I love seeing Christmas through our kids' eyes. It's a really neat experience.
So how do you teach some new traditions of Christmas to your kids nowadays?
Yep. Well, as a pastor, my wife is a teacher, we recognize that teaching and education is really important. And so we don't shy away from different things. Like we literally have different kids' books on all the different holy days for different religions. We've got books on Hanukkah, we got books on Kwanzaa, we got books on Diwali, we got books on Christmas, we've got books on Buddhist, we've got books on Islamic holidays.
And the kids welcome the learning, right?
Absolutely. The kids love it. For them, we hope that they will see all this wonderful diversity as normal, as opposed to becoming something we have to work hard to achieve. For them, it will hopefully come naturally and be second nature and be normal, and we tell them the Christmas story. The other day, actually, my kids were playing with our Christmas nativity set, and they were playing and talking and doing all these things, and it was really sweet, and
Now, I might put you on the spot, but as a kid, were you ever in a special Christmas pageant or not?
oh, absolutely. I was,
Who
yeah.
did you play?
We were too.
I played Joseph. I played a shepherd. I probably played a donkey.
Well, everything that's in
Maybe
the
Carla played a beautiful angel, and she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she probably played an angel. I have to ask her. Oh, absolutely.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, I miss the pageants here at our church. Kids have grown up and everybody's moved away, and I do miss that time, that aspect of Christmas here at our church. And doesn't mean that adults couldn't do some kind of a fun Christmas pageant, but yeah, I miss the kids running around and doing the Christmas pageant. It was always so much fun.
Well, yes, absolutely. And I know when I came here at Holy Trinity, there's been so many things over the years. And when I helped with the youth group for a while as an adult leader, when Noel was here, and that there was just so many things, but time goes so fast. But it doesn't mean that we can't build up or we can't do these traditions with our own families. Now, one of the things I want to say, we're going to have to go a little longer than we anticipated here. We'll have to preempt the other shows. But, okay, what I wanted to say is, and not to bring anybody down, but there's always people, even though Christmas or Advent and Christmas should be the joyous seasons, most joyous seasons ever, really, there's a lot of people, for one reason or another, that it's not, or there's a struggle. Because, as we were saying, family, and a lot of times, family has either moved away or passed on, and how would you suggest that someone work through so they can have as joyous or as happy of season as possible and keep the memory alive of those who aren't around for whatever reason?
Yeah, Jeremy, that's a great observation. This time of year, like you said, as joyous and as celebratory as it is for different people in their different faiths, for their various different holy days at this time of year, there are a lot of people for whom this is not a happy time of year because they've lost a loved one, they've been diagnosed with an illness, they've lost a job, or their job security is in question, their food is not they're not able to get the food that they need, or whatever the situation is. There's a lot of things that get people down at this time of year. I can be a Grinchy Claus myself at this time of year. Yeah. I can be Mr. Grinch as much as anybody else, trust me.
But at the same time, you could carve the roast beast for the whole congregation. Eh?
Yeah, I'll carve the roast beast and I'll eat all the mashed potatoes too.
For Cindy Lou.
For Cindy Lou Who. But yeah, but it is very hard for people when they're going through stuff, and experiencing things at this time of year that go against the kind of perceived countercultural or not countercultural, but against the perception of everything's got to be happy and joyous and wonderful and great and all that stuff. It's okay to feel unhappy at this joyous time. That is normal, and there's nothing wrong with anybody for feeling that or experiencing that. It is okay. Trust me, it's the happiest time for a lot of people, and myself included, and yet I have just experienced the death of my best friend a couple weeks ago, and I know at this Christmas time it's going to be very difficult without him around, and knowing that I am not going to see him physically again, But what I will do is I will get out all our photos. I will look at our videos that we've got, and we will have that presence of that person there And yeah, it hurts. And yeah, it'll make me cry. But I will also be so happy that he was a part of my life and my family's life. And he will be a part of Christmas. In fact, when our kids were decorating the tree, they took Uncle JP's Christmas decorations that he sent them when they were born, and they hung them on the tree for the very first time, and said, now Uncle JP has a special place on our tree, and he will be with us on Christmas. You know, it's beautiful. You know, yeah, and he lives on through our sharing of his story and our memories, and looking at these beautiful photos that we've got. Yeah.
To me, and it's just an opinion that I have, but to me, I'd like to think there might be a spiritual Christmas in heaven for loved ones that passed on.
Yep.
Would you agree?
Sure, I have no issue with that at all. You know, there's, if those people are being talked about and are being remembered in a beautiful way like you do, and we can look at those pictures, they are celebrating Christmas with us, and that's a beautiful thing. So I know some churches, like within the Christian religious tradition, there are churches that will have what's called like a blue Christmas service, or they'll have a longest night service. That's something people can go to if they want to acknowledge. Yeah, and we're having that here. Shameless plug. Longest night on December the 21st, 7 p.m. at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. We are doing this every year so that we can acknowledge that this time of year is not always the most joyous. It's not always the most happy, because we all carry these hurts and these griefs and this anger and whatever it is within us. And we come together to acknowledge that that's okay and it's normal. And we have an evening of sharing stories, sharing photos of loved ones, sharing our experiences, and acknowledging that it's okay. In time and in sharing stories, hopefully for people who participate in these things or do these activities at home, will find a smile on their face at the end of the night, and see a little bit of the joy coming back into their life in those very difficult times.
I want to have a few moments for Josh to say a very special poem. He likes to do it every year. And we will see you next week on Christmas Day, on the Other Side radio show. But thank you, Pastor Rob, for joining us. It's always a pleasure. We look forward to having you back. We've got to do a whole podcast series. This would be fun. Hanging with the pastor. Okay, so take it away with your special words for the Advent and Christmas season, Joshua.
I want to say God bless to all my family and friends. I love you dearly. I'd like to do this poem for you, to give you a little hope and inspiration, to let you know Jesus is leaving a light on us all for the world to see. Peace on earth. It came upon a midnight clear so long ago, that peaceful night. A baby was born. The birthday was here. Peace on earth, goodwill towards all. Glory to God in the highest, O little town of Bethlehem. Let us come and adore him and remember how Christmas really began. Rejoice, rejoice. Let the angels sing to the newborn King. Let his mother Mary rock him in the manger, Let the whole world have a heavenly glow. Let him be known as Jesus Christ, our Lord and King. Let the doves have hearts of gold and wings too, so their love can be right with you. Let this be a season for the young and old of the simple things. Let people live life for what it truly means. May the three wise men walk tall and bold, and may this be the greatest story ever told. Thank you. God bless.
Happy Advent, Merry Christmas, and this has been The Other Side on location at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church with the renowned Pastor Rob Wiesner. I'm Jeremy T. Davis. And joy to the world, everybody. Along with Joshua Davis. And we will see you next week. God bless.
The Other Side Radio Show is a production of the Other Side Media Group in association with 91X. You can connect on Facebook at the Other Side Media Group, Instagram at Jeremy Tyler Davis, or on YouTube at Jeremy T. Davis, Belleville, Ontario for on-demand episodes and more. Tune in next week for another episode of the Other Side Radio Show.